Hey everybody, welcome to the Dex, where we cover trivia and strategy for a different Pokemon each week. I'm Smasher Alex.
And I'm PokeKellz, and what's your deal today, huh?
I don't know, man. This thing's just making me violent, you know? It's getting inside my mind.
Weird, dude.
It's okay, you know what? I'll be fine. We just gotta teach the people, not slam our heads together.
Great. It's Haxorus!
Come on, just a little tap.
No.
Just a little,
No.
just...
Haxorus is the Axe Jaw Pokemon. It's the token late-game, slow-leveling, two-stage dragon line from Gen 5, and even though it doesn't get as much love as Dragonite, Salamence, Garchomp, or Goodra, it's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, man, it looks kind of like a theropod dinosaur with a long neck and two arced, flattened tusks that partially encircle its head like an axe, which explains why its English name is just Hack, Axe, and Saurus mixed together. Simple.
In Japanese, its name is Ononokusu, which is a mixture of trembling and two different words for axe, which places even more emphasis on its headgear. But Germany has everyone beat with the name Max Axe, so you know, look out. Hashtag Maximum Axe, hashtag Aximum.
Nice.
Thanks.
Also, it's important to note that Haxorus is fully armor-plated and that its tusks can cut through steel without ever getting dull. Most of the time he's gentle though, because just like everyone cool, it's a lover, not a fighter. Just don't step into his home.
It should also be noted that Haxorus has more than a passing resemblance to the kaiju Gigan, who first faced off against Godzilla in 1972. There's not that many giant mouth blade creatures out there already, but when he was redesigned in 2004, the new blades and the armor plating seemed to cement Gigan as an honest-to-goodness influence. What's this now?
Sorry, I just freaking love kaiju.
Well, nobody ever said you weren't passionate about your work.
Right? This is tight.
And it's about to get even tighter because it's time for this week's new and ridiculous segment.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah, it's about Pokemon and weapons, and we'll call it Pokemelee.
Dope, let's do it. So if we're trying to get specific, Haxorus' face blade is most similar to a double-headed battle axe, a combat weapon that's been around for thousands of years. It's tried, it's true, and it's so much more than just not a sword.
Check it. As you can probably guess, unlike swords, which are super balanced at the hilt, axes are really top-heavy, which gives them a much heavier impact. This makes them much more useful for armor breaking and blunt force attacks.
This means axes don't really have to be super sharp like swords to deal out devastating damage, and because of their weight and momentum, fighting with an axe is more about swinging it around and around than precision dueling.
Which actually works out pretty well for Haxorus, since his long neck would give those face axes some swinging power. In fact, it'd probably look a heck of a lot like fighting giraffes. And listen, I know that sounds funny, but it's not, it's brutal. So be warned.
In what is known as necking, male giraffes fight over females and territory by standing side by side and swinging their heads at each other like wrecking balls. Yeah, the hit is powerful enough to knock over a minivan, and they literally aim for each other's soft bellies to do the most damage possible.
Whoa, I don't even want to imagine what it'd be like if they also had axe blades on their heads. That's gross. Luckily though, just like Haxorus, giraffes are pretty gentle most of the time, and they're super quick to make up too. Minutes later, they're eating out of the same tree like nothing ever happened.
Wow, man, that's actually pretty big of the giraffes. That's how all fights should be done, dude. Work it out, chill for a second, then make up. That way nothing stews. And that's a Pokemelee.
You know your slogans never make sense, right?
Right, that's why they call me Kid Chameleon.
Wait, what?
That's why they call me Kid Chameleon.
Because your slogans don't make sense?
Yes?
Let's just go to battle strategy.
Kid Chameleon.
Oh my, just Pokemon.
Most dragon types have either a crazy high attack stat or access to Dragon Dance, but Haxorus is an absolute beast because he has just both. Get ready to rock. Start with an adamant one and super train it in attack and speed.
So obviously you're gonna wanna start with Dragon Dance on this set, but a lot of the time the opponent's gonna see you and try to status you out of it right away. So come packing a Lumberry for an almost guaranteed boost.
Still, I'm all about giving you options, so when it looks like your opponent's got a slow guy out who's gonna need a boost or two to get started, open with a taunt instead. It's always a great way to mess with their morale, and you might get a free turn or two while they try and deal.
The obvious choice for one of these slots has to be Outrage, but the introduction of Fairy types makes getting locked into it for 3 turns kind of unsafe, so mitigate that with the ever-reliable Earthquake for absolutely devastating coverage.
Typically, Pokemon with Levitate would be safe from an Earthquake, but the true power of Haxorus, aka Haxorus, is his ability Mold Breaker, which ignores any ability effects that weaken or negate his moves. Sorry, Bronzong and Rotom, today just ain't your day.
Of course, that's not the only way to train a Haxorus, so here's a few random thoughts.
If you're confident in your ability to outguess your opponent, go with a Life Orb instead of a Lumberry. It adds yet another multiplier to your already beastly damage, and that's never a bad thing.
If the thought of fairy types locking you out of Outrage is too much to bear, try swapping Taunt for an extra coverage move in Poison Jab. Who knows, you might even catch a grass type off guard, too.
And finally, if you're really feeling lucky, go from a Dragon Dance straight into a Swords Dance, and then it's not even funny anymore. It can turn an L into a W before you even realize what those letters stand for.
And that's it, Haxorus, Mr. Axe-faced McGiraffe Fighter.
What?
Let it slide, you owe me.
Got me there. Click here for a playlist filled with even more awesome dragon types, or here if you want to brush up on all the other Pokemon we've done for Unova. And remember, check out the Dex podcast by clicking the link below.
And guys, thanks for watching. I'm PokeKellz.
And I'm Smasher Alex. Tune in next week for an absolutely beautiful episode of The Dex.